Hi everyone, it's Monday evening here in Kuala Lumpur, so time for a new video, just talking about what's on my mind. And today it's about greatness, because this is something that's been ticking through my head for quite some time. And on the weekend, we went to Malacca, where Jess, she's very strong, and she was able to earn second place, silver medal in a Olympic distance triathlon in pretty brutal conditions. And she that's not the first time she's been on the podium. She's won other events, and she's a pretty great athlete. She's extraordinary, and I want to connect that to this idea of greatness because I think that today, one of the key phrases we keep hearing again and again, especially in my field of human development, is realize your potential. Be your best every day, all that kind of stuff. And I've just come to believe that that's quite exhausting because you never realize your potential, right? There's always something to chase, so you're never good enough. And I think that that's exhausting. It's tiring. I think it gets depressing. And what are you really chasing? Your illusions of yourself, your constructs of society that you believe will make you. When have you realized your potential? And that's where I think greatness comes in. I think greatness is that moment of self-realization. It is to realize you are no longer pursuing potential. You are who you are, and that is good enough in this present moment. And you shine your truth and you speak your truth. And I think that that's really for me what greatness represents is that ability to be present in the now moment and to bring that full courage of saying what you really actually want to say. That's what I think it means to be great because the challenge with greatness is that all life exists in impossibilities, right? If you think about it, life is between being born and dying. It's an impossible moment of many contradictions, right? You hold your breath for more than a few minutes, you die. You eat the wrong food, you die. You have the wrong pH balance, you die. There's so many variables. So it's this very precise ability to navigate a vast amount of complexity. And so that's really, I think, how you can think about greatness. There's so many things in your life you need to think about. How do you organize them so that you can become great? That I think is a really interesting question. And so I wanted to share with you some of the thoughts I've been having around this. So what I've been thinking and experiencing and learning a lot about, and as always I'm grateful to my friends and especially my partner Jess, my wife and universe partner, to help me learn about this, is this really thinking about what it means around the masculine and the feminine. Because we really have grown up in an environment and a world where the masculine is basically a male and a feminine is a woman, and that's it, right? And basically, I've discovered that I don't think that's really true. I'm more of a theoretical guy, so and that's how I think about the world. And basically, what I've come to believe is that I think the masculine, in a very abstract sense, is basically if you imagine the world as just points. The essence of masculinity is to connect to others. It's to impose your worldview. You are seeking to connect to others, right? And you impose, and literally that is represented by the penis, right? The ultimate male symbol is the phallus. Why? Because it penetrates other worlds, right? And so, what is the masculine phallus penetrating? The feminine, right? And so, the role of the feminine in my worldview is to receive. And so, what I think we have done, the mistake we have made, is to assume that your genitals, right, whether you have a penis or a vagina, determines whether you are masculine or feminine. And I think these are completely different things. So, in my sort of abstract theoretical space, the masculine is an ability to connect and impose your worldview. And it's an energy, it's a way of behaving, right? It's assertive, and we call it things like alpha, right? But the problem is, if you become overly masculine, right? Whether you are a man or a woman by nominal gender, you become really a bit of a dickhead. And what that means is you literally have just become the penis, right? Because you're only asserting your worldview. All you're ever doing is talking about yourself and what you want to assert. And the masculine ego just completely takes over and thinks it's all about itself. And so that's why, it's important to have the feminine. The feminine is not weaker. It is not lesser. It is just other, right? The plus is not better than minus, and minus is not better than plus. You need both positive and negative forces to create a field in which things can happen. In magnetism, for example, and actually, many other fields. But the objective really is to understand it's the truth of two. You need masculine and feminine. So the feminine, as I understand it, is about receiving. It's about receiving the masculine. But actually, there's a lot of power in that because the divine feminine is what receives the universe and translates it into something new. By giving birth to new things, and it's also about surrender. It's about submitting to the world, and there's a lot of courage and beauty in that actually. And I think that what has basically happened is in our societies today, especially in this world of leadership, we have these male egos that have become toxic, and they basically are just trying to assert themselves, and it's become an unconscious male pattern that, like, the men and also many probably masculine women don't even realize we're caught in this pattern, and we think we have to manifest this pattern of assertion and masculinity and dominating the world because that's just what you do. And a lot of women, or the feminine, and there's a lot of feminine men too, are kind of perhaps trapped in the anti-pattern of being soft and surrendering and submitting, and that's making neither of us healthy. Because the problem is, when you're always a strong man, it gets exhausting, right? And you get burnt out, and you have no space of vulnerability, you have no space to grow. And as a result, you become very fragile. And so you become extremely defensive, you're not open to learn, you close yourself, and that makes you ungreat, basically. Your inability to manifest both masculine and feminine makes you lesser. And so what I have come to believe is that to be a truly great person today means to be someone who can have both great masculine and both feminine energies. And what does that mean? It means you are able to, in the right way, at the right time for you and your environment, assert and dominate and impose your worldview and say, this is what I require, this is what I want. It's about being strong and forthcoming. And then equally, you are conscious enough to be able to understand when it's time to surrender and listen and follow and enjoy that, right? Not actually resent it, but actually embrace that. And I think that what a real great human being is able to do is to regulate the expression of the masculine and feminine in a way that works for them and, obviously, very importantly, the people around them. And I think this is really, really important, because what I think we need to do to become the great human beings, to live great lives and to build a better world, is to embrace this pattern. Because as I was saying earlier, there's a lot of factors in greatness, and I'm not saying this is the only one, but I have come to believe it's disproportionately a very important one. That if you want to become a lot greater in your life, probably you could make a big impact by doing two things. One, becoming more conscious of your masculinity. Are you asserting enough, or are you overly asserting? And secondly, becoming more conscious of your feminine. Are you surrendering? Are you really submitting, listening, following, not saying yeah, but actually embracing and realizing the power of vulnerability, of expressing your emotions, of expressing your vulnerabilities? Because then that takes you to the third element of, are you dancing in the ecstasy of being alive? Are you expressing the masculine and feminine in the way that works for you? And so that's my thoughts for Monday afternoon. I hope you enjoyed them. If you have any comments, please leave them. Otherwise, enjoy and embrace the masculine and feminine. Bye.